Newsflash, events don't drive net new leads. Well, some do. Let's talk about it on today's Run of Show. One of the most important things that an event marketer can do is to manage expectations. Recently, I went out to coffee with somebody who had been let go from her job. She was a very talented event marketer, but she didn't manage expectations well. She was brought into her company to drive demand generation, what's called net new leads, leads that weren't in the database before. But her skill set, her expertise was in events. And the types of events that she was particularly good at were events that were great at converting people inside of the funnel. These were clients or prospects that they wanted to turn into clients, or she was trying to take clients and turn them into bigger clients. And that's what events are great at, converting people who are already in your funnel. Now, I'm sure many of you at home, this resonates with. Your boss wants you to drive new leads, and they want you to use events to do so. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk through the types of events and tactics that actually do drive net new leads and the types that don't. Now, first things first, important concept. All events are not created equally. A happy hour is not going to have the same effects as a VIP dinner, and a VIP dinner will have a different clientele and a different impact than a roadshow. You want to plan and measure these events differently. Think about it. You wouldn't use a measuring cup to measure your 4-minute mile, right? Each event is distinct and different, and you want to treat them as such. And as you plan out your year, it's important to think about every event type, from your happy hours to your user conferences to your VIP dinners, and to try to map that to a primary part of the funnel. What is it going to impact? What kind of guest list is going to be in the room at that event type? Okay? By the way, a really important thing to do in the beginning of your year, and I can't tell you how often I don't see event marketers do this, is to tag up your events by type. Every event should have a type, a bucket, a category that you use over and over again to measure it against other events of that same type. This allows you to measure apples to apples and really keep the numbers consistent and to track those KPIs across equal types of events. So we've established that events do a great job of driving funnel, but not the best job of driving net new. But what events do drive net new? And how do you make the most of that? Well, let's talk through that. So again, net new means that it's the first time that they've entered your database, that you've never seen these people before, they come from the anonymous world, and all of a sudden they're a prospect and they're in your CRM. Okay, the best way to find net new leads through events is to choose your event types wisely. Now, we've identified 4 different event types that actually drive net new leads. The first is big conferences, and we typically find that a big conference has the ability to drive about 10% of the attendance as net new. The reason is it's a big enough conference, it made a big enough splash that you're able to find new people, and new people were able to find you and actually attend your event. Number 2, and this is kind of building off of other big events, if you're able to find a trade show or a large conference like Dreamforce and host a satellite happy hour or dinner around that event, that's another way to actually drive net new leads, people who are just at that trade show and show up to your happy hour. Now, one of my favorite ways to drive net new leads is to partner up, is to pick a company or a media publication that has a similar audience to yours and to host an event together. What we often find is about half the guest list is yours, half the guest list is theirs, and their guest list often includes a lot of net new leads. But of course, the time-tested, most effective way to drive net new is with sponsorship. And this includes trade shows, field market activities, curating events, cross-promoting an event, or simply sponsoring an event and putting your logo on it. So because sponsorships are such an effective way to drive net new leads, let's just walk through 3 tactics that I've found effective to make sure you're capturing as many leads as possible. Okay, number 1, try to make this a non-negotiable with the event organizer that they share the attendee list with you. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes they'll say no, but it's at least worth asking, and I try to do it every single time I spend money to sponsor an event. Number 2, capture engagement information when you're capturing leads. So if you're biz card scanning, or if you're capturing leads in the field, or you're trading business cards, try to make sure that people are writing down how they engaged with those net new leads. What that's going to do is going to help your sales team prioritize who to follow up with first and how to follow up with them. And number 3, try to get ahead of the game. Get your BDR or sales team to start calling and emailing people before the event actually happens, and just try to set up meetings. Now, these aren't exactly net new, but if you're doing a sponsorship game, you'll find that you'll see a lot more impact if you're actually getting ahead of the game like a month in advance. Okay, quickly moving on, let's talk about a couple other ways to actually generate net new. Now, an easy, straightforward, and as old as events way to do it is to keep track of the plus ones. We typically find that an event has about 50% of the attendees are going to bring plus ones. So that means that you can actually see about 50% more attendees or more net new in your database. And especially if it's a B2B event, their plus one might be really important. It might be their boss, it might be a coworker, it might be somebody really important to the sales process. Number two, think about partnering up in any way you can. Now, sure, you can partner with another company or another team, another organization, but maybe you partner with your speakers, or maybe you partner with the influencers who are attending the event. Maybe even partner with the DJ to get the word out and spread the news about your event and try to get some net new leads. And last but not least, and this is really important, we're seeing this more and more as event marketers level up their digital sophistication, is that they're teaming up with their demand generation team, their digital marketing team, to drive net new leads. The way they do it is pretty simple. They basically send information about their attendees to their demand generation team. And their demand generation team is using that information to create Facebook lookalike audiences, people who look like those attendees. They're actually taking out retargeting ads and paid social and advertisement across the web. And they're even retargeting those attendees specifically to make sure that they actually attend their event. So teaming up with your digital demand generation team is really effective. Okay, just to recap, the best way to drive net new with events is to choose your event types wisely and make sure to follow those tips I gave you around sponsored events. Try to track those plus ones. Those are really important. Partner with everyone you can. Create incentives to do so. And last but not least is to amplify with your demand generation team. And before I let you go, please, if you remember one thing, remember this: tag your events by types. It's going to save you a world of pain at the end of the year when you need to compare everything. Okay guys, that's it. We'll see you at the next run of show. Thanks for tuning in. Craving more event content? If so, subscribe below and you can check out more episodes of Run of Show Weekly.